And welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Hey, thanks as always for making your way here and checking out the series and the episode. Please do hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, new and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists. Discover some new ones as well. You can do so at all the usual spots in podcast land. That does include iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, WFPK.org, NPR.org, or of course, right here on YouTube for the video versions. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest is going to be Chelsea Cutler. In fact, we taped this a few weeks prior to this little intro right here. She was in Louisville for the Forecastle Festival 2022. At the Great Lawn in Louisville, Kentucky, and stopped by the WFPK studios, which is where I got to spend some time with her. She dropped in to talk about not only the record that she put out last year, When I Close My Eyes, but the deluxe edition that followed this year, the new songs on it. We got to talk about her friendship with Quinn 92 and what the future is looking like for her as far as new music is concerned, too. So here's a special edition, including now, it's Kyle Meredith with Chelsea Cutler.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Welcome back to Louisville.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to know how to pronounce the city. So
she was trying to figure it out. Like, have you spent time here before?
I have. This
Okay.
is my 3rd time here. But first time kind of since the pandemic. So first time in a minute.
Okay, but you were telling me you had ties and everything to people like. You say it well. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, especially because we came here on the tour for my debut album, like right before the pandemic kind of came, and like you don't want to be on stage and be like, "What's up, Louisville?" You know, like you want to know how to say it. So I feel like I definitely asked a ton of people back then, kind of how to say it too. So.
You know, even if you did say Louisville, like you get away with it. Like they'll know. Okay, obviously it's not afraid. It's only the people who say Louisville, and you're like, you got to leave now.
I mean, that's just intuitive, I think. You know.
Yeah, it's that. We are so happy to have you back here.
Thank you.
You're going to be playing. Let's see, 4 p.m. on the Mast stage, right out there. That's the main stage in Forecastle, and you got the new record. Well, let's say the record came out last year. There's a new deluxe edition of it. When I Close My Eyes. And first off, congratulations, because it just keeps getting better and better what you're putting out.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's talk about this a little bit too. I mean, for where you came from, where did you learn your craft of song? Like, I know it's usually not a straight line, but the craft of songwriting, it almost when you arrived, it sounded fully realized.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. I grew up in a household where music was playing kind of all the time, like every single car ride to and from school, and up until like high school, and then my dad kind of insisted that we listen to NPR radio. But yeah, there's just music playing all the time, and my parents just listened to like a ton of rock and roll and singer-songwriter stuff, and I think from a super young age, like I was hearing storytelling through music, and I think I just kind of grew up wanting to emulate that. So definitely been like writing songs since I was super little, although they weren't very good initially, but yeah, I just feel like I've been so surrounded by it my whole life.
Yeah, and it's the storytellers you pinpointed specifically there.
Yeah,
of the
100%.
classic artists. Like who are those?
Grew up with like a ton of Coldplay, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, the Stones, John Mayer, and I think kind of as I got into high school, I listened to like a ton of Bon Iver. And like I also just grew up in like the prime era of Taylor Swift, I think too. With like the more pop stuff too. She's she's the best lyricist in pop music. So yeah, I feel like I was just so surrounded by it all the time.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you pinpointed her too, because I think that was is maybe one of the most important parts of her legacy already is that she did bring storytelling. I wouldn't say bring it back because it's always been there in some form, but that became really important. And I know for artists that she has inspired, I do think that's the part that they've kind of like grabbed onto.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think what you can find a lot of the times in pop music is really vague writing, and I think that can be kind of the product of the pitch culture. It's really hard to be vulnerable when you're in a songwriting session with 6 people that you don't really know, and I think something I've always kind of admired about what Taylor Swift brings to pop music is just how specific she is with her songwriting. She doesn't care who understands what she's talking about or like what moment in time she's referencing.
Right.
It just feels super personal.
Yeah, thanks for not doing the vague songwriting. Like, we got enough of that.
I'm guilty of it. Everyone is. Like we all like write songs in songwriting sessions with people, and we leave the session. We're like, this is the greatest pop song ever written, and you put it out, and like a month later, you're like, I could have done better. It's not that good.
Well, let's talk about this record then. When I Close My Eyes, what is the story you wanted to tell on this album?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just am like I don't come to the music industry with some narrative. I think what I come with is just I'm just a girl in her 20s who's writing about being a girl in her 20s, and I think writing this album I just really wanted to kind of expand the spectrum of things I was talking about. So, with my first album I wrote a lot about like heartbreak, and I think with this album I really wanted to talk about how fast time was moving and maturing is difficult. And, I touched on mental health a little bit, and I touched on, I tried like writing love songs for the first time really too. So I was kind of all over the place, which I think is cool because I think when you're 23, 24, you continue to be all over the place. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was you talk about, growing up in the passage of time. I mean, there was one of the songs on here, You're Gonna Miss This. It's right at the end of the record. And suddenly when I heard it, I was like, that was the one that spoke to me because I don't know if you want to explain this more, but to me at least, it's that moment in your life, you get in your 20s and it's the first bout of nostalgia that really just starts hitting you, which is kind of funny when you think about it because we're all still very young when we're in our 20s, but that's when it starts. That's when it hits there. What does that song mean for you? Because I know that creeps in there a little bit and it probably says a lot more on top of that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I wrote it about exactly what you're saying. I think, something I really wanted to talk about with this album is the fact that like one, in the pandemic, time was moving so quickly and I felt like we weren't able to experience all the things that we wanted to experience. And like when I was 20, I was about 22 when the pandemic started. And now kind of obviously it's still a thing, but like coming off the heels of it being more intense. I'm 25, and I feel like so much time went by, and I'm like not sure if I experienced my like early 20s the way we're supposed to, quotation marks. And I think like we're also just in this era where we're surrounded by social media and we see, oh, our friends are over here on this vacation. These people are hanging out without me. This person just bought this car. This person just bought this house. And we're like seeing everybody's accomplishments and comparing our timeline up against theirs. And it's like really hard to be present and just kind of be appreciative of it's so cliche, but like where you are in your moment and who you're with. And so I just kind of wanted to write songs about that.
I know. And you've got the deluxe edition out too. Like I said, let's see, 3 new songs.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Lifeboat's Empty, What Everybody Wants, Marlboro Lights. That sounded like a very specific, as we talk about storytelling, situation.
Totally.
Was going on in that one.
Oh my God, 100%. Yeah. So, yeah. So my mom, I think it was like maybe it was the first kind of 6 months of the pandemic. And I had a pack of Marlboro Lights in my like center console of my car, and I don't like smoke cigarettes at all, but I think like when you're that age you kind of think it's like edgy and cool to like go buy a pack of cigarettes. And I was like bored in the pandemic, and my mom found it and was like, why do you have this? And I like made up some ridiculous excuse. And
so not even being in your 20s and a well-known musician across the world can keep you from the guilt of your mother still.
Oh my God. I think moms trump everybody for sure.
Right.
They're the person that you want to make proud the most.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the record has now been out a little bit. I know you've been talking about online. You tweeted on May 7th, making a rock song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm hitting at here is some directions you're going in, because you are still writing right now?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I just got home from tour about 3 weeks ago now, and I've been like nonstop writing. But my definition of a rock song is like definitely different than that most people.
We're not talking like Jack White right here.
No, I'm talking about like the lifeboat's empty type direction for sure.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at here, because coming from this record here, again, sort of a little bit born from isolation, with references to that. Like, now you've come out of that. Do you start to see the type of things that you're leaning towards directionally?
Yeah. I mean, I think that what I've been writing so far has been so fueled by creative energy from touring and getting to work again and stuff. So I think you're exactly right that the last album was definitely kind of derived from like feelings of isolation and yeah, I don't know. I feel like so much more alive than I did the last kind of couple of years with the pandemic. So it's really refreshing.
It's gonna be a bouncy record.
Yeah, Are you
gonna do your pop punk record? That's
that's
what everybody's doing
right now,
right? That's what everybody's doing. It's time to do a pop punk record.
No, there's no like pop punk but it's bouncy so far, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, right on. So I'm not trying to, like, where's the music? Because when you're a greedy fan, you're like, cool, thanks for the new record. Where's the new music?
Oh my God, of course.
Like, that's it. But do you start seeing that game plan too? Like, oh yeah, maybe in the fall we'll start like dropping some stuff.
Yeah, I know. So I kind of know exactly what I want to do. I've never had a timeline for an album before, but with album 3, I wanted that because I wanted like a little fire under my butt with getting it finished and everything. And so yeah, I have a timeline. I definitely want to put something out kind of before we leave for the next tour, because we're gonna do a Wick Me Part 2. And yeah, I know exactly kind of what I want to do with it. And
right on.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
Right
it's funny because like you'll be in the studio and you'll write a song and you'll post like an Instagram story or a TikTok. Just wrote this today. What do you guys think? You're like, drop it right now. It's like, bro, I'm posting it from the studio. Like, I just wrote it
immediately.
People are like, when is this coming out? I don't know.
Yeah, right. That's half the problem though about even saying anything, because then it's like,
100%.
And that happens a lot right now. We'll see things on TikTok. Artists all the time. It's like someone we're going to be talking about here in just a few minutes with Quinn 92. I mean, he's been posting about a song already, for a couple weeks, and it's like, right. So you've got this song.
Oh, he's had that song for a while,
I have
though.
the song, right?
No, that's
you get in those
so
positions
funny.
all the time. Yeah, that's I was thinking like for a lot of musicians, like pre-social media, it would be like you could road test a song forever and not worry about it.
Oh,
ever
totally.
being out there. And then bootlegs started kind of changing that when the internet, with bootlegs and
Totally.
and then of course once YouTube was there, like you cannot debut a song unless that's it. That's the version.
I mean, even like when I was on tour supporting Quinn 92 4 years ago, my first tour ever, I had a song called The Reason that wasn't out yet. And I played it every night on tour. And granted, I wasn't anyone relevant enough to like want to leak a song. I probably still am not. But I didn't have to like worry about teasing the song in a social, like on a social medium. And I played it for like 3 months before putting it out, and it was awesome. And I got to sit with the song, and like now there's such an expectation dude, you never teased music like this before. People you drop a single and drop an album like that,
right.
And you didn't have to tease music. And now it's like, oh, let's tease everything and see kind of what gets traction, and then we'll pick the single.
Yeah.
It's like that, I don't know.
Which is,
weird to me.
You do lose something, because road testing, it really does. As you were saying, living with a song, like it changes the song. So by the time you could get to the recording, it might be another version of her realized.
Yeah, and like, dude, if you're the storyteller, you're the artist, it's, in my belief, it's our kind of responsibility to be curating the release schedule and curating like the journey that fans are going on by what they're hearing first. And I think this kind of culture of, oh, let's like tease things on social media, let's see what gets the biggest reaction, and we'll put that out. It's like you're not really like taking on the responsibility of curating this like artistic rollout.
Right. Right.
It loses a little bit of the glisten for me.
And then you just got to roll with whatever the new thing is.
I'm not on that wave though. I'm not giving into that. I hope.
Again, talking with Chelsea Cutler here on 91.9 WFPK. 4 o'clock at Forecastle on the Mass stage. I will say, we brought up Quinn 92. He was also going to be here. We've been saying he's going to be here, but the flight was delayed. So many flights were delayed apparently, and so yeah, he's not going to show up. Not that you need extra time with him. I mean, it seems like you guys, are just going to be together whenever too. So
we need time apart, I think. I'm just kidding.
Have your space right here. But I know people like to bring that up because you have this friend group and like everybody's talented, it seems like, and I mean, do you feel like you're part of a scene in a way?
No, I don't. I mean, I live in New York too, so I'm kind of separated from the music industry in so many ways. And I mean, I don't really get to see, like Jeremy and Quinn and AOK that often anyway. So, but I do feel really fortunate that I have like such good friends and role models in the industry too. Cause again, like living in New York, I really don't know personally that many artists. So yeah, I'm kind of grateful we have, that kind of community.
Now, how many songs have you and Quinn 92 put out together at this point? Because I'm thinking you could put together one of those like Kenny and Dolly albums. You could be the new Kenny and Dolly.
We'd have like a greatest hits. Yeah. I mean, so many too. Because even I've even been fortunate to like help write some of his stuff, and he's been, awesome and he helped write a bunch of stuff on my last album too. So even the songs that we're not like singing on together, we still kind of have a hand in.
There's that fingerprint there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're gonna play one of them right now. Calling All Angels. Again, this is on the album When I Close My Eyes. What do you want to say about this one?
I love this song. My mom used to like sing this little prayer to me every night before, like when I was little. That started with like calling all angels. Sounds kind of like nerdier when I sing it now, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to like kind of write a song that like embodied that prayer. I'm not really like religious or anything, but that was just important to me that my mom did that and just like wished me well every night. And so yeah, good song.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll play that. Chelsea, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. And again, everybody heading to forecast. So 4 o'clock, you'll be playing.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, a perfect time.
I think so, right? The breeze, it starts getting a little cooler by then.
Yeah.
I hope. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll have the river
breeze. Is it hot
breeze.
here?
Not today.
Okay. Yeah, because it was raining. Yeah, it was like kind of chilly and raining yesterday, but like everyone was like, oh, you're going to Louisville? Like it's going to be really hot.
Well, that's, I'll quickly say, up until this year, this festival has always been in the middle of July. And it's like 101 degrees with 100% humidity. And so they moved it this year to...
You're so right, because I played Forecastle a couple of years ago, and it was not in May.
No,
so
it wasn't. So this is the first time it was May, so you get a little bit of a cooler temperature now.
Nice.
So.
We love that. Okay, cool.
Perfect weather day.
Cool.
My thanks to Chelsea Cutler. Again, the deluxe edition of When I Close My Eyes is out now. Thanks to Chelsea, and thanks to you as well, again, for checking out the episode and the series. Hit that subscribe button before you get out of here so you can keep up with all the interviews that I put out every single week, 3 a week at all the usual places in podcast land, and of course, right here on YouTube. Then after that, head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, and bonus interviews. That's Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence, they've got your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, mostly Twitter, occasionally Facebook and Instagram, all 3 of them at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.